For thousands of years, the Bible has been considered the ultimate record of divine encounters between humanity and the heavens. But what if some of the most shocking encounters were deliberately removed from it? There exists an ancient text, one that was once widely read by early Christians, a book so controversial that it was ultimately excluded from the official Bible. Not because it lacked importance, but because of what it described. This book is known as the Book of Enoch. Unlike the familiar stories of angels acting as messengers of God, the Book of Enoch describes a group of celestial beings known as the Watchers, entities who descended from the heavens and made direct contact with humanity in the earliest days of civilization. According to the text, these Watchers did not simply observe mankind. They interacted with them. They taught them. They revealed knowledge that humans were never meant to possess. Astronomy, metallurgy, weapon making, even the secrets of the earth itself. Knowledge that would rapidly accelerate human development. Knowledge that appeared to arrive suddenly, without explanation. The Watchers were described as beings of immense power, descending from the sky in ways that ancient writers struggled to explain. Their arrival was terrifying, their presence overwhelming. But perhaps the most unsettling part is how these encounters are described. Enoch writes not of soft wings and glowing halos, but of beings who move between realms, being surrounded by fire, thunder, and blinding light. Now consider another biblical account. In the Book of Ezekiel, the prophet describes a vision unlike anything else in Scripture. He speaks of wheels within wheels spinning in the sky, of brilliant lights flashing like lightning, of mechanical movement, of being surrounded by something that appeared to be structured, symmetrical, almost engineered. He describes objects that could move in any direction without turning, objects that emitted sound like rushing waters, and structures that descended from the heavens to the earth. For centuries, these descriptions were accepted as symbolic visions of divine glory. But some modern researchers have begun to ask a different question. What if the ancient prophets were describing something real? Something they simply lacked the language to explain? What if divine encounters were interpreted through the cultural lens of the time, recorded as angels, chariots of fire, or heavenly beings, when in reality, they were witnessing something far more complex? Early Christian communities were familiar with the Book of Enoch. In fact, parts of it are directly referenced in the New Testament itself. Yet by the 4th century, as church authorities worked to establish a unified doctrine, the book quietly vanished from the biblical canon. Its stories were too strange, its descriptions too detailed, its implications too dangerous. Because if humanity had once received knowledge from external beings who came from the sky, it would challenge the very structure of religious authority. It would raise questions that institutions could not easily answer. Questions about where knowledge truly comes from. Questions about whether humanity has always been alone. Today, fragments of these ancient texts remain, studied by scholars, debated by historians, and quietly examined by those who believe that history may not be as simple as we have been told. Were the Watchers fallen angels, symbols of divine wisdom, or something else entirely? Perhaps the truth was never meant to be erased, only hidden. If you want to uncover more sacred mysteries, subscribe to the channel and join us as we continue exploring the forgotten stories history tried to bury.